So, oh, you know what I haven't done in a little while is the dumpster dive intro. You know what I'm saying? God, you guys probably don't even remember the intro. You probably don't even remember the dumpster dive intro. It's been so long. It's been so long since we saw it. But I think I can't spell to actually get to the video, so I'm stalling. Yeah, you don't know what day it is without the intro. So true.
Subscribe to Dumper Man.
Garbage day.
Hilarious, thank you for the prime. And you might be correct as to what day it is. But we'll have to see if this video can actually shed some more light on what day it is. Please stand for your national anthem.
Garbage Day!
Garbage Day!
No!
That's right, it's Garbage Day. And what is garbage, you might ask? Well. I would say our topic for today might fit this this description pretty well, actually. Because the real garbage is the state of the games industry. Yeah, that's right. I wasn't going to talk about gaming in 2024 without talking about layoffs. We're starting off on a sad note so that things can get better. I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but I feel like it's very hard to talk about good things happening in the gaming industry in a year where there have been an unprecedented amount of layoffs. And I don't know that I really grasped how big of a fucking deal this was until I saw this image. Let me just... You can look at that. This is since the beginning of 2023. Each dot is one person laid off. Look at 2024, bro. That shit is whack. That shit is absolutely whack. That is just a ludicrous amount of every dot is a person, bro. I'm not super knowledgeable in all of what's going on. So I'm not gonna try to make sweeping statements about this or that. The gaming industry needs to do this or that to get its shit together. But obviously, I'm gonna talk about some new games and stuff coming out. But I feel like if I'm talking about gaming in 2024, it is very hard to talk about without the looming shadow of this, which is unprecedented layoffs. That sucks for everyone involved. And I wish them the best of luck. And yeah. I'm gonna go into talking about various games and things like that. But yeah, I think that's kind of the real note to start on here. So when I had the idea for this dumpster dive, I was like, I'll just have people submit trailers and stuff for games that they're excited for, and I did get a little bit of that, but not as much as I expected. But that's okay, because much like what I just showed, the state of the games industry is not actually this year defined by really cool stuff happening. In fact, it's been mostly bad things. One of those bad things, and I won't say it's bad due to the game in question, but one of those bad things is Palworld. And now I'm not saying the game is bad. I haven't even played the game, but the discussion around Palworld and its use or maybe not use of AI. And here's a tweet that I saw that I think sums it up pretty well. And this is not, this has nothing to do with this particular person or anything. It's not a statement about them. It's just to illustrate the conversation about Palworld and AI. Yeah, Acerola actually makes cool content. So again, it's not a dunk on them. But when I saw this tweet, which reads, Palworld's overwhelming success is the first step in the normalization of generative AI slop games, which is really, really depressing. 10 years ago, an asset flip game like this would have been relentlessly ridiculed. LOL. When I saw that tweet, I was 100% certain that there was leaked information or something that suggested that Palworld used AI. Now, since I read that, it seems to not be the case. Oh, whoops. I'm having trouble managing my windows here. But it was based on this. It was based on this here, which is a statement from the CEO of the company that published Palworld. And it's translated, but it says roughly, If you pass it through the filter of AI, the image is often not of a specific thing, so maybe the copyright issue will be resolved. I was surprised to see that the world is actually moving in that direction. In about 30 years, the general public's perception of copyright may have changed considerably. AI has evolved so much that I can no longer tell which one is a Pokemon. And basically just showing the process of iterating between, you know, a source material and like, you know, something new, quote unquote, that the AI spit out. And then promoting a game that involves telling AI art from real art. Basically, yeah, it's the CEO of the company that made Palworld talking about, like, you know, thinking AI is cool and whatever, that it's the future. Now it doesn't, that is it for the evidence. So it doesn't actually seem like Palworld used AI, but it is an interesting conversation because I feel like 2024 is going to be defined by AI leaking into games. It's just an inevitability. And Palworld may not have been that game, but this conversation was bound to happen at some point. And here is a really interesting here's a really interesting Steam discussion post that I found that actually illustrates this pretty well and is also a little bit scary. Simon, richer than you, says, please buy AI generated games. Okay, seriously, I have no evidence that Palworld has many things AI generated, but if it has, so what? Do you think in the next couple of years you can stop natural evolution in the gaming world by boycotting AI generated games? Hell no. It's like saying boycott personal computers because they don't have physical copies of my documents anymore that I need to throw away all my paper. Oh no, seriously. AI is the future, and it will help a lot of developers to focus more on important stuff like game design and mechanics and balancing. My response to this? Where'd it go? Okay. That's not actually my response, but it might as well be. Yeah, safe to say I do not agree with that guy. But there are gonna be people who think like that. It's gonna happen. This year is going to be the year of that conversation being forced upon us. And Palworld is only the beginning, unfortunately. I obviously could say a million times over, I don't want generative AI in games, but like it's about to happen. Like all the signs point to it being a thing on the horizon. And here is another tweet on this subject that I thought was pretty astute, from Gene Park, who said, if you look at something like Palworld and think an AI can do that, you are actually a massive sucker and are being duped by AI companies. And actually, I'm just noticing that is a quote. So I don't know actually where that came from. It might have been from this original article. Which, yeah, elaborated on, says, I'm going to put this as clearly as I can. It would honestly take more effort to use generative AI to make 3D video game character designs than to just pay someone to make bad ones. Trust me, I've actually tried. And yeah, I mean, that is kind of like where I landed on the Palworld thing. It seems like it's not AI. Is it creatively bankrupt and just aping Pokemon? Yeah, of course. But it seems like it is not AI generated. Now, I'm not going to show this game because I'm not 100% sure that this is what it is. But I did watch another content creator play a game that I was pretty sure had AI generated assets in it. And I can't prove it, but it has more, they're 2D assets, and it has more of the hallmarks of like AI generate, you know, just wispy, like kind of nonsensical hair and stuff like that on the characters. And it was not, in fact, marked on Steam as being generated by AI. And I really wanted to show it because I thought it was interesting, but in the event that that game was not made by AI, or didn't have assets made by AI, I really don't want to just go like slandering, you know, some dev's work, even though the game looked like shovelware anyways. But what I did notice that the creator in question, who played this game, is someone that I actually like, and I don't think they were, you know, playing it to support AI generated games. And he even commented that it looked like AI. But I went to his channel to see if I could find the title of the game, and I actually couldn't because he hasn't uploaded it, if he even will. But I was struck by Mr. Stans on his gaming channel, Stans But Gaming, uses the same thumbnail face in every single video. I'm baffled by this. Is he doing this as a joke? Like, this has to be a joke, right? It's the same face in every video. I actually really enjoy his content. I will always sign off on a good old-fashioned gamer on twitch.tv. Oh, that one's different. He really was pogging for Balatro. But I was just laughing my ass off at the fact that every single face was the same. You know what? Keep it up, Stans. No, that's the thing. I don't even think he's appealing to little kids. He's playing games like he's playing like strategy games, and he's playing Disco Elysium. Like, I don't even think it's about appealing to kids. I think he's doing it as a joke, but I'm in disbelief. Yeah, maybe he is making fun of Sniper Wolf. That's true. I never even considered that. Thank you for the 22 months, by the way, Bon. I feel like you just subbed. But thanks. I appreciate it. 22 months. Sheesh. Anyways, that's enough of dunking on Stans. I actually really like Stans, and I watch him very often. He's a good dude. Good content. Good gaming. Okay, so then we moved on. I'm just reminded of Doug letting AI rewrite his LinkedIn account. I love what Doug does with AI. Like, I feel like that's like the perfect niche for AI, is like the type of stuff that Doug does, and not, you know, making slop games to turn for a profit. So that wasn't it for the Palworld stuff, though, unfortunately. And again, to me, there is no real evidence of wrongdoing here, but I thought it was an interesting discussion. I'm not taking a stance on like pro or against Palworld. I haven't even played it. I don't think I will. But then it moved from the game clearly used AI to the models are completely ripped off of Pokemon. And then you can just scroll through this thread, basically. I'm not going to go over each and every one. But the claim is that these are, you know, heavily inspired, to say the least. Some of these are a stretch. In fact, some of these are a massive stretch. Some of them have, like, one feature the same. And some of them are pretty close. I don't think this really proves anything, though. But the idea was to suggest that they had stolen, you know, somehow assets or just the intellectual property of Pokemon. Like, yeah, you can see some similarities here. But I don't know. I don't think this proves that anything was stolen. Yeah, heavy inspiration is maybe the word I would use. But it wasn't, you know, it didn't just stop at that either. Well, here's an interesting tweet about this, too. This guy saying, AI seems like a red herring here. If you are making the argument that superficial similarity needs to be banned to help little guys/gals, you are arguing for even stronger IP protection laws plus enforcement than we already have, and is strictly worse for little guys and gals. I mean, yeah, I think that's completely true. Some of the comparisons were adjusted to make them look more like Pokemon models. Yeah, I'm going to get into that, because the model comparisons were another interesting thing, too. I've seen stuff where they have AI make artwork of video games into live action films, and it's kind of frightening what the AI comes up with. I have yet to see like live action style like AI stuff that really looks convincing at all. Like, it always looks very surreal. Wait, is this the Lunite? I'm getting into that. Don't worry. Reminds me of someone called a tower defense game a copy of Balloon's Tower Defense 6 because it had it has water. What? Yeah, I've never heard of that. That's crazy. So yeah, I mostly agree with this guy. I mean, I don't think, obviously, if there was actually IP infringement on Pokemon, I mean, maybe Nintendo's investigating it. They did say as such, but it kind of sounded like okay, we know, we get it, we've seen them, whatever, you know, stop asking us about it type thing. Whereas if there was actual like legal action they could take, like Nintendo is like one of the most like litigious companies in the world. Like they would sue instantly if there was like actual grounds for them to pursue legal action. That's my opinion, as, you know, not a lawyer, is that I feel like Nintendo would have acted long ago if there had been grounds for that. But here you go. Here's more model comparisons. I just picked kind of a random one, but this person Biofrog has done a lot of them. And like, yeah, you can see the model is pretty similar. I believe they said they scaled the model like to you know, make them more closely aligned in size. Again, I think they're different though. You can see the ways they're clipping out of each other. I think it's pretty clear that these are different models and one is just heavily inspired by the other. But the thing I found interesting about this person was when pressed for the reason they were digging into this Palworld stuff so much, their response: I am doing this because I think it's disgusting how much Palworld glorifies animal abuse. Bruh. Bruh. And honestly, that was kind of where I landed. At no point was I very interested in Palworld. A couple of my friends tried it, said they didn't like it very much, and I just decided I wasn't gonna play it. But all of this like discussion about it feels like it's happening in bad faith. Like I think it's okay to just say you don't like the game, or that you're not interested in the game, or that you think the game is creatively bankrupt and clearly just trying to capitalize on the vacuum of good Pokemon games. I think that's all fair. I think you can absolutely say all of that about the game. But I just don't understand why people were so like desperate for a justification to hate this game. To be fair, you can abuse your pals a lot more than you could in Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, I don't think that proving that they stole models actually does like own them for glorifying animal abuse. Am I crazy? Like, I think you're making two different points here. It's basically like an ad hominem, right? It's like I don't like what this person is doing, so I'm sorry, not ad hominem. I can't think of the logical fallacy. I guess it's kind of ad hominem, right? Like you're attacking the, you know, something entirely unrelated about the person who made the game rather than, yeah, begging the question maybe. Yeah, that, I don't know why I lost all my logical fallacies from high school, but there you go. But as the internet does, the Palworld fight raged strong for a few weeks in January. But already it feels like a lifetime ago. And I think this tweet kind of sums up how fast how fast this stuff moves. So the original poster says, how it started versus how it's going. Helldivers 2 greater than Palworld. And the original tweet is, Palworld has lost 2/3 of its players in 2 weeks. And then, you know, tweets about Helldivers 2. Game has sold around 1 million units since launch. Sales are blowing through the estimates. Yesterday, the game had over 220k concurrent players, blah, 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 blah. But I could not agree more with this person. Live service rotted Zoomer brain cannot comprehend finishing one game and moving on. That is so, like, every time people are like, oh, wow, Starfield lost 1 million players. That's crazy. It's just, I mean, not to defend Starfield. That game clearly has problems, but like, it's so funny to think that like people can't understand that you eventually just finish a single player game. It happened with Cyberpunk too. And what's even funnier about Cyberpunk is a ton of those players came back. Whether they didn't like the game or dropped it before finishing or what, a ton of them came back eventually. So it makes it even more funny that people were trying to dunk on it for losing this, like, you know, inflated launch day player base. So yeah, there you go. The internet has moved on from Palworld. What did they move on to, you might ask? Oh, well, here we go. We have one more thing on this subject. And I don't fully 100% agree with this one, but this person just said, I sure wonder how Palworld, Helldivers 2, and Enshrouded have been outselling major AAA games. It's almost like charging $70 isn't smart and only damages sales. I don't necessarily agree that all games should be like a $30, $40 price point, but I do think there's a point to be made here that I think what this is showing is that like that price point is going to be, it's going to be a force to reckon with this year. I think you're going to see a lot of games that launch and do really well at that price point. Yeah, you can add whatever you would like to the dive. Just submit it on Discord and I'll get to it at the end of my stuff. think another point is to actually make good games. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Hi-Fi Rush was like the classic, like $40, / Game Pass, ideal kind of game for that, like that price point and that market. Is in the thread. You can put it in the thread. If you put it in like the Dumpster Dive channel, I'll see it too, but preferably in the thread. The thread's still open, by the way. Fucking adore $20 8-hour indie games. Yeah, so here's the thing though. I think you've got indie games like your, $5 to $20 like single solo dev and small team games. And then you've got AAA games up here, which are like, you can buy a bunch of these on Steam, like when you have, a little extra money or whatever. Whereas like you might buy like one brand new AAA game a year. I'm not saying everyone does, but like that could be like how someone who is like on a budget for gaming treats it. But like you also have the middle directly between those two where like indie devs aren't really making these games and AAA devs aren't really making these games either. And AA has kind of disappeared in recent years. But like the AAA games are getting like increasingly expensive and increasingly disappointing. And indie games are still just always going to be indie games. I actually think there is like a very compelling case that I don't even know if you want to call it AA, but just that like middle price point could really like shake up it already is. I mean, it already is. Like you don't need to look any farther than this. I mean, these games, like, the only one I played out of these was Enshrouded, but it's really good. I'm enjoying it a lot. And I didn't bat an eye at paying $30 for a game that I thought I would get a lot of enjoyment out of. Whereas if this game was $60, $70, I don't think I would have bought it. It's like that Suicide Squad game too. Like that game seems to be an abject failure at a $70 price point with a fucking battle pass and live service attached to it. I'm on a budget and I'd be down to spend $30, $40 for a good multiplayer experience. Yeah, exactly. Or I mean, even a good single player experience. Like I think about Hi-Fi Rush and while it wasn't like my personal favorite game of all time, I just think about like the enjoyment you can get out of that game, like compared to how much you pay for it. Like that, I mean, there are $60 and $70 games launching with as much content as Hi-Fi Rush, and it's worse. Like I think about the latest Call of Duty campaign. And apparently that was like 3 hours, and that's a $70 game. Now, granted, people are buying that for the multiplayer and stuff like that. But yeah, and a lot of them, yeah, just have less content or lower quality of content. I think people are way more willing to shell out $30, $40 for even like a comparatively smaller experience if it's like really, really good. But not to mention, yeah, if you get into like multiplayer and stuff. And I don't know that much about Helldivers yet, although I am interested in it. But what I've seen so far is basically that it is like a live service multiplayer game without the live service. Like it has a battle pass that can speed up your progress, but otherwise like everything is unlockable in the game. And the devs were saying some like pretty smart things about like how they chose to monetize that game, like that. They believe that you have to like earn the right to monetize a game, which I totally agree with. So I don't know. The jury is still kind of out on that game. I think it has kind of a bad like kernel level anti-cheat and stuff like that. But like I always like to root for games like that over the AAA games that are like trying to force in battle passes and live service and stuff like that. And, God, who better to spearhead this discussion than Ubisoft, where Philippe Tremblay, I don't know if that's how you say that, but I think it wasn't too bad, We're not big on the French language here, so, where he said, gamers need to get comfortable not owning their games for subscriptions to take off. And honestly, this was how I found out that Ubisoft has a subscription, so maybe this was some, like, guerrilla marketing that actually worked in a weird way. But yeah, I think this is like a everyone hated that type moment. I don't think anyone wanted to hear that. And it's awfully rich of Ubisoft to say that, because this week they also said this. They also said they defended the $70 price tag for their game Skull and Bones, calling it a quadruple A game. It really sounds like they want you to own this game. I don't know. Am I misreading? It sounds like they would really like you to own Skull and Bones, to purchase it in a capacity where you then own it. I'm not sure that was, it's crazy back-to-back statements from Ubisoft here. I don't really know what qualifies you to be a quadruple A game. All I know about Skull and Bones is that it has been in development hell for like almost a decade. And the early reviews of like the beta and stuff are not too good. So good luck with that. They want you to purchase it for full price, but still not own it. Honestly, like that is kind of the truth because apparently it's a live service as well. And I've experienced this firsthand because I used to be a big, Rainbow Six Siege fan, and I do still play it occasionally. I mean, the game is fun, but at this point, Rainbow Six Siege is like the ship of Theseus. Like every part of that game has been removed, re-added, reworked in some way. And even though like I paid for that game and it hasn't yet like left my library, I don't actually feel like I own that game because it changes so much that it is no longer the game that I purchased, which is really a strange thing. And I don't know how to feel about that. And even though I still from time to time enjoy that game, it is definitely a different experience from the game that I paid money to own. So maybe there actually is some truth to that. This was another interesting thing, and this is a much smaller scale thing. And there is actually a clarification here, but I thought this was interesting because it has to do with something else that is relevant to the stream. One of the games that I'm going to include as the vote for which game you would like me to play is the new Prince of Persia game. And there was this whole thing where Ubisoft hosted a $10,000 Prince of Persia speedrun competition, and they have now patched the game to get rid of the skips people use to compete. Essentially, they use speedrunners as free QA testers. And I thought, perhaps that's how they justified creating this quadruple A game. It turns out this was not true, but I do believe that this happens. I do believe that this absolutely happens. I know that From Software is like famous for patching out speedrun skips like almost vindictively, and I would be almost sure that Ubisoft does it. However, there was a clarification to this, which was posted after I added this to the dive, but I just thought it was interesting anyways. The context is wrong. And this person, who seemingly is a moderator for the speedrun community, said, "I'm sorry, but this is not what happened, and the initial tweet is getting too much attention. The challenge was NMG. I don't know what that means. So they didn't use runners as QA testers. Otherwise, it would have just been any percent. The only thing that got patched from the challenge was one way to a skip, but the faster alternative is still around. They are patching stuff, but they're not linked to the challenge at all so far, except one thing. It's always stuff that impacted a lot of casual players. Maybe they'll continue patching stuff for speedrunners to not use in the future, and I'll be sad, but saying they use the challenge for QA testing is completely wrong," which is good. And the game seems good. The game seems very good, and I'm excited to potentially try it this month. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that did get resolved. But I thought it was an interesting thing. Oh, no major glitches. Oh, thank you. Devs who patch skips that don't affect normal gameplay are weird. Yeah, I mean that's what FromSoft does, and I don't want to have like a double standard here and say it's okay for FromSoft to do it. It's not. It's still very scummy. But yeah, I think a lot of devs are doing it, and FromSoft does it like almost vindictively too. Like it's like they really don't want people to speedrun their games, which is crazy because those games have always had a really healthy like speedrun and challenge run community. All right, so in talking about the acceleration of gaming discourse online, there's yet again no better way to illustrate how fast this shit moves than the fact that we're already back to yellow paint, courtesy of none other than New Blood's own Mr. Dave Oshry, who said, The yellow paint virus has infected Final Fantasy VII, and you got a little bit of a climbing scene here with some yellow paint on it. I feel like I'd be honored if someone wanted to speedrun my game because it means it's that good for me to want to play hundreds of hours. Yeah, I know, right? I guess like it's possible that speedrunners find glitches that are like really, really like bad for like casual play. But if they don't affect casual play at all, I'm of the opinion that they shouldn't be patched, or that they should be patched around in such a way that still allows the speedrunners to have fun. But yeah, it's funny because Dave's not even making a statement about the yellow paint. He's just saying like, oh look, I found some. The thing with FromSoft is because their games are all technically multiplayer games, you have to keep in mind they decided what to patch only from the stance of a multiplayer game. I do think there are some skips they've patched, though, that I don't really see how it would affect multiplayer. I guess maybe, like, you could have someone invade and then, like, jump to somewhere that, like, you wouldn't be able to get normally. Like, I guess that would be the reason for it. But some of them are, like, dubious, I think. And yes, so thanks to Dave, the good old discourse about yellow paint was launched once again. And of course, someone had to fire a shot back, saying, meanwhile, in an alternate universe, and it's an edited version of the original tweet, where Dave is saying, where the fuck are we supposed to climb in Final Fantasy VII? And honestly, I thought this one was pretty funny, because even if this was how the game was, I can tell where to climb. Like, I'm not, like... I don't even have the greatest vision, you know? But I feel like I could reason my way through this. I would be like, okay, yeah, it's a little lighter and sticks out a little more there, and I could probably climb there. I don't know. Is that just me? It seems fine. So I think this guy was trying to make like the counterpoint, but sort of failed, because actually this seems all right. This looks like how like Assassin's Creed does it. And the other good news, well, it's good news and it's bad news depending on how you look at it, is that I yet again started shitposting. I quote tweeted Autry's tweet and said, sir, a second bucket of paint has hit the games industry. And luckily this time I did not go giga viral. Unlike last time, where, oops, wrong tweet. Unlike last time where this happened. And I said, having some guests over, just want to make sure they can find the bathroom all right. And I photoshopped my bathroom door to look spray painted and got 33,000 likes for some reason. So there was that. But there is one thing that has happened. It's that my video about yellow paint started randomly getting views. I wonder what could have caused this. So yeah, hopefully this stays under control. But yeah, it started like a couple days ago getting a spike in viewership. So it's not crazy yet, but it is 999% more than the previous 7 days. Dude, I am kind of just waiting. I'm kind of just waiting for like someone big to like quote tweet my like yellow paint meme again and for it to blow up all over again. Like, it does happen every so often that like someone will like or retweet it and I'll get like a wave of likes again. It's never been like a crazy amount, but like I'll wake up randomly like some Monday and just be like, oh, I've got 10 likes on that again. Okay. But it hasn't happened yet. Fingers crossed that it doesn't. And the other thing about that, and honestly, the only reason I needed to toot my own horn about that meme is because for every great artist, there is, of course, imitators. And I happened to see this meme, which I'm just going to say it looks a lot like a worse version of mine. Put a bunch of yellow paint on my front door so I don't get lost when trying to leave. And this was only good for 8.7k likes, but listen, all I'm saying, I see you. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, and it's not working. My lawyers will be in touch. And And honestly, the rest of what I have is mostly just memes. So I hope you guys enjoy yellow paint memes. Here's a good one. Relevant with the Super Bowl going on, however, this does not depict the Super Bowl. It does say, the yellow paint virus has infected American football, which honestly, it unfortunately affected the good old game of American football long ago. I can't believe it. When I was younger, I did think that like the first down line was like actually painted on the field, like between breaks. I don't know how I thought that worked, but I just thought it was, I was like, the players like go in front of it. How is that possible? I assume they just like green screen it onto the field essentially, since the field is, you know, green. But yeah, I always, did you see the SpongeBob Super Bowl thing? Yeah, I was like incredibly surprised that Nickelodeon was doing an entire Super Bowl cast, but I think that's pretty funny. And I did also see the Bidenator. I did in fact see the Bidenator. And it's funny that you should bring that up, Bomber, because indeed, I did save a tweet of the Stanley Parable Adventure line. Regrettably not included in my original video about yellow paint, but this person said the yellow paint discourse was a punchline 12 years ago and no one has done it better since, and goddamn if it ain't true. It is pretty funny. I remember, I don't remember thinking any particular way about this when I played this game, but now that like the yellow paint discourse has happened 10 times over, it becomes increasingly more funny every single time. Plankton killed like 300 people during the Super Bowl. Honestly, based. We watched just like the regular broadcast. I really should have watched the Nickelodeon one. But yeah, I mean, what I always liked about the Stanley Parable, and I played the like original version of the Stanley Parable, is that it's kind of all about this. Like it's almost like, I mean, the game is about a lot of things, but like the whole like design philosophy of the game is basically like encouraging you to break the rules. And I've always liked that, even before I really had like any opinions about game design. I just always thought it was cool. And it's nice that they continue that into like the full version of the game. Tried playing this on Steam Deck and it didn't work. Are you talking about Stanley Parable? I'm surprised that doesn't work. Here's a good one from Robin Poe. TLDR of the yellow paint scandal. And going over this head is gamers hate the color yellow. The color yellow fucking sucks. And then they're saying, wow, look at how the pursuit for hyper-realism has destroyed natural-looking level design. That's good. It's good. What can I say? What can I say? Gamers just hate piss. Yeah, it's so true. You guys will be able to find my stream extra easily because I'm going to have yellow hair on Wednesday. So get hyped for that. Yellow fucking rocks. It might just be a little too orange though, you know? Like maybe it's just not, the contrast just isn't quite there. I'm going to have record low viewership because you'll just be unable to find my stream. Can't wait for you to paint your hair yellow so we know where your head is. Yeah. Here's another version of that meme. Here's one person saying, whoa, this is such a lazy and anti-immersive game design. Another saying, gamers are stupid. You wouldn't know where to climb without these. And then the real thing that's going over both of their heads is that climbing sequences suck. It's kind of true, you know, as someone who actually likes and defends the old Assassin's Creed games, there's not too many games that I find are like made better by climbing sequences. I think it kind of works in Assassin's Creed because of the freedom that it provides, like of movement and like traversing the maps. But like, you know, I know this is a controversial take, but I think about
Subscribe to Dumper Man.
Happy 1 year anniversary. My present to you is moral support.
Let's fucking go. Thank you for the 12 months, Hyena. Sheesh. No, I think about Doom Eternal and like the platforming sections there. Like, I don't know. For me, those don't add much to that game. There's definitely other like very like straightforward kind of linear games where I feel like, you know, platforming and traversal and climbing sequences don't really add anything. There's definitely an argument to be made there. I don't think they suck as a rule, but yeah, I mean, Because I've played the original Final Fantasy VII. I don't remember it having climbing sequences, at least not that like were, you know, intertwined with the gameplay in any meaningful way. So it really kind of puzzles me as to why they would add like, you know, Uncharted-esque climbing sequences in the remake. It seems a bit pointless. Unless I'm just misremembering. And here's some good, like, more niche game dev related memes about this. The legend Kenny NL created yellow paint assets in case you need to add some wayfinding to your game. Give it up for Kenny. I thought that was pretty funny. And also, here's the last one. Last yellow paint meme. But, if you ever need to help choosing a game engine, here is a map showing you some of the possible options. Of course, choose whichever you like most. Seems pretty fair to me. Seems pretty fair to me. I don't know. Yeah, just pick whichever one. Pick whichever one you'd like. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is barely a remake. A lot more of a reimagining / retelling of the game at this point. Yeah, but I think my point still stands. I'm wondering what climbing sections really add to that game, you know? I understand how different it is, but I don't think I quite see the appeal of adding climbing sections to that game, I guess. All right. So now at this point, mostly getting into just like some random games and stuff that I'm excited for. But the last thing on just like the note of like the gaming industry as a whole. This is an article about EA talking about the flop that was their game Immortals of Avium. I'm not sure if that's how you say it because I don't really know anything about this game, which costs around $125 million. And a former dev says, a AAA single-player shooter in today's market was a truly awful idea. This person quoted and said, a AAA single-player shooter in today's market was a truly awful idea. I think you just need to make a better game. And honestly, it's kind of hard to disagree with that. I mean, yeah, this game is so weird because like I think I watched a like Skill Up review of it the week it came out and it looked fine, but I just didn't want to pay $60 for it. And then I promptly forgot about it. I just don't like, where was like the hype or marketing for this game? It just feels like they put nothing behind it. When will they release a yellow paint version of Morrowind where it points you exactly where to go? It's called Skyrim, honestly. I get where there are platforming sections in Doom Eternal, but they are designed to be very mid. I mean, I understand the argument like pro platforming in Doom Eternal and like that it's there to pad out the levels so that they can feel like bigger and more grand essentially, and that the actual gameplay of them is not like meant to be the focus of it. But I still think that adding just like mediocre gameplay elements into your game is still bad, even if they're kind of bad on purpose. All right, so getting into some of the stuff that I am actually looking forward to. There is, of course, the ever-looming rumor, the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and I'm covering up his name, but this is from Ziostorm, who's been pretty diligently covering, you know, the news and leaks about this. But basically what has happened is that on the Steam page for Elden Ring, a new DLC entry has been added. And this says last updated 5 days ago, but last I checked, they have been updating it more. I believe there was also a rumor regarding they updated the playlist on YouTube for the DLC. I mean, this is definitely something. I don't know if this means the DLC is coming out soon, but it's definitely confirmation of something. Elden Ring, my game of the year of, God, 2022. Right? God, did it come out in 2022? Oh, I hate that. And the DLC, one of my most anticipated releases of this year, despite being a DLC. I think it's pretty clearly going to be a big DLC, so very exciting.
Did you also see the rumor about an Elden Ring Gacha game?
When's the Elden Ring anniversary? It's like the 25th. And yes, I did see the rumor about the Elden Ring Gacha game. I didn't actually include that in this dumpster dive because talking about it just makes me sad. It just makes me sad, honestly. But yeah, there you go. It seems like Elden Ring DLC sooner rather than later. Copium. And then, just to round it out, here's a pretty good meme from also Ziostorm. Just whatever is in the actual DLC, and then me watching Miyazaki cook it up. Although, to be honest, he's been cooking for 2 years now, and I think he could probably drop the DLC at this point. Come on, Miyazaki, we need it. All right, so I had a collection here of indie games that I wanted to talk about. Just like quick showcase stuff that I saw on Twitter that looks cool. I'm not 100% sure the best way to do this. This is a game made by the developer of the game Lone Ruin, I think it's called. But this is an FPS called Ocean Mirror. And I thought this looked pretty damn sick. It kind of gives me like... Oh god, the bitrate's horrible on Twitter. But it kind of gives me like Hyper Demon vibes. But you can like flip around the world by jumping into the water. I don't know. That shit looks sick, bro. This shit looks awesome. So yeah, I wanted to just give a quick shout to that game. I'll be very excited for whenever that... Actually, does it have a release date? Cool logo, too. Wishlist now. Now! You should wishlist Ocean Mirror now. No release date. But there you go. Mario Galaxy, if it was good, so true. Yeah, the color palette's nice. I think it kind of has the same color palette as his other game. Oh, it's a little different, but it's kind of... This is his other game, Lone Ruin, which I thought looked kind of cool. It's sitting at mixed reviews right now, but I'm not sure why. But it has a nice look to it. And yeah, I'll be excited to check out Ocean Mirror. Here's another one that I've been keeping an eye on Twitter. Like just the development of it. And I just picked like a random clip. I might just go to the Steam page and see if there's like a trailer though. This is called Voin, V-O-I-N. And like this shit, god, the bitrate's horrible. I'm gonna see if I can find a better video. But I'm always looking for good first-person melee combat games. And this shit looks delightful. Let me see. It does have a Steam page. Here we go. This game has got the juice. Time will tell if it has the sauce, but it definitely has the juice. Yeah, it definitely needs a Dark Messiah kick. And that's like the only video on the Steam page, but looks nice. Looks pretty nice. I'm excited for it. I should know. I have it wishlisted. Reminds me of a Medieval. I think it's more melee combat focused than a Medieval, but every game needs a Dark Messiah kick. Well, god damn it, when you're right, you're right. Here's another one. I actually played this one on stream, but I just want to talk about it because it's coming out real soon and it seems very, very cool. This game is called Hellskate. The only way I can really describe it is that it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater meets Devil May Cry, and it's also a roguelike, and it comes out in 3 days. But yeah, I will just play the trailer. I may still have a demo if you want to check it out. Actually, you know what? I have to mute this because I got copyright claimed for the music in this game. Hopefully there's like a streamer mode or something. But yeah, it's basically Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but you also have a sword, and it's also a roguelike. And I really like it. And I recommend you check it out when it comes out in 3 days. I think so. I read somewhere that that someone who worked on Tony Hawk's Underground actually worked on this game as well, and that's why like the skating is so good. I don't know if that's true. I haven't confirmed that for myself, but it would make a lot of sense because this game feels pretty much exactly like a Tony Hawk game, which is really impressive. The other thing I learned about this game, and I don't actually know, I don't know to what extent this person is involved, but apparently Kwebbelkop, like the Minecraft YouTuber, is somehow tied to this game too, which I was a little confused by. But there you go. Apparently, Kwebbelkop has something to. I don't think he's actually working on the game. Maybe he's just like publishing it or something. No idea who that person is. I don't really either. Honestly, what I know about Kwebbelkop is that he made a really freaky like AI
Careful,
VTuber.
the milk keg has yet to be tapped and it's under severe pressure.
But again, I don't think that should reflect badly on this game if you don't like him. I'm not sure what his involvement even is, and this tweet has like almost no engagement. I was like, what does he have to do with this? I was so confused by that. But hey, I mean, it seems like he somehow helped a cool game get made, so. So +1 for Kwebbelkop, I guess. A man I really had no opinion on other than that I think his AI VTuber thing is kind of freaky. Here's another game that some people wanted me to talk about. This is Windblown, from the developers, sort of Dead Cells. At least from the publisher of Dead Cells. And this one is very exciting looking. There's only this one trailer out so far, to my knowledge. But I am excited for this. It looks very fun so far. Bit of like top-down Dead Cells with co-op. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. And this is not the actual game. This is just like an animation, but they do show some gameplay at some point. Yeah, here we go. This is gameplay. It has like a nice look to it. Yeah, the music's nice. Yeah, I can see Hyper Light Drifter. I love this animation style. They've done this for the Dead Cells trailers too. I'm gonna see so much titty of these furries in approximately 2 months. Bless. I have to admit, when I see like a furry character in a game, I'm just like, oh, that's an interesting character design. I'm not like, oh, furry. Like, maybe that's just because that's not how my brain works. But just like, oh, okay. 2 months. Now the power of horny is much faster. God damn it, dude. BRB looking for science. Well, there you go. Early access 2024. That was basically the whole trailer. So with this, though, unfortunately, came the news that Dead Cells is ending. And Dead Cells is a game near and dear to my heart. A game that I don't think was ever really meant to be a live service, if you will. It's really not, but it has gotten updates in perpetuity for 5 years. And here's the farewell from the developer, the original developer. Well, I don't know exactly how this. There's actually drama over this, which is kind of weird. But this is Motion Twin saying the next update for Dead Cells is going to be the last update, and then Evil Empire, who is the studio that I believe currently works on Dead Cells, while Motion Twin works on Windblown, providing, you know, a little bit more of a statement on why Dead Cells is ending. But that's neither here nor there. Dead Cells, obviously, like pretty much one of the great successes in all of like modern indie gaming, with an impressive amount of like post-release support. An insane amount of tie-ins with other indie games. I mean, it's almost like the Fortnite of indie games. I mean, it's just it has like a little bit of everything in there, and just a really fun game that has received like a way more updates than I think anyone ever thought. So when I heard that the game was not going to be developed anymore past the next update, I was not surprised. I mean, that it makes sense. The game has been updated for a long time, and it seems like the dev's moving on to other stuff. However, a former Dead Cells designer called it the worst asshole move imaginable, and said, "I can honestly say I'm glad to not be part of this anymore." And I was like, what? And then I read a little bit more about this, and I don't really know what to think about this. I think that honestly at this point, regardless of the reason, Dead Cells like kind of has earned a retirement. But basically, I'll read what he said. He said, "Since you're asking me, I just say Motion Twin did the worst imaginable asshole move against Dead Cells and Evil Empire. Having seen firsthand the actual situation behind the scenes, I can honestly say I'm glad to not be a part of this anymore. The official statement is total marketing bullshit. And the way this situation happened is on a whole different level." Now, I believe that this person, yeah, they've been out of development for a while, so I'm not sure that this all holds true to what's going on today. But I do think it's interesting. I don't know. I didn't like bat an eye at Dead Cells development ending. I was like, that sucks that there won't be any new content, but like obviously they deserve to move on after 5 years of really incredible support. But yeah, I mean, it seems like there may be some drama there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to make of that. But either way, I think Windblown looks really good. I am sad that Dead Cells is ending, but ending development. But given that it is like one of the most successful indie games, really, like at least within its genre niche of all time, I would say that it is kind of a deserved retirement. And I just hope the devs are being treated well. They mentioned at one point they had content planned for at least 2024, and the end is nigh wasn't meant to be a final update. Yeah, but my understanding is that Evil Empire is moving on to other stuff too. And that obviously Motion Twin is working on Windblown. So whatever the reason for the update getting canned is, I do think that like Dead Cells has kind of reached a somewhat natural conclusion. And I don't think it's crazy for them to say like, all right, this, 5-year-old now game is not going to get any more updates. I don't think that's all that crazy for a successful indie game to kind of go quietly into the night. I hope that there's not like, anything shady going on behind closed doors, but that's really all I can say because it's kind of just one person's word against the others. No, it's not even that crazy for that to happen to a AAA game. And you want to know something? It happens to AAA games sometimes after like a year. Like ones that don't meet quotas of success and stuff sometimes go offline after like a year or two. And it's kind of fucked up. And Dead Cells, again, is not going offline. It's just not going to get continued like updates in perpetuity like it has been for the past 5 years. You could still buy Dead Cells today and get hundreds of hours of entertainment out of it, and you would never even know about any of this. But I mean, and I recommend you do. If you haven't played that game, it's one of my favorite games of all time. And yeah, I mean, it's still gonna get another big update too. Like, I don't know. I have a hard time like seeing this as like a real big problem. And I just hope that there's not like, any shadiness going on with the developer, but it seems like it's just one person's word against the rest. So here's a game that I'm excited for that is supposedly launching this year. I haven't seen anything about it in a while, but hopefully that just means they're buckling down and working on it. This is Hyper Light Breaker. And this is wow, that was loud. This is like the original gameplay reveal trailer. And for some reason I have subtitles in French. And it looks so cool. I'm so excited for this. They're going Risk of Rain, basically. It hasn't released already. And by that, I mean they're going from 2D to 3D. God, that combat looks smooth, man. And the art style is beautiful, yeah. It seems like there's a lot of different characters. At least they show 3 in this trailer, I think. Maybe 4. And the weapons, man. Has like pretty smooth looking character action combat. It's procedurally generated. So I watched a video about the procedural generation, and time will tell, but it seemed like they had the right ideas with the procedural generation, where it's meant to kind of like, the whole thing is like structured around important landmarks. And I don't know, like the stuff they showed looked good to me. I don't mind procedural generation in the right like situation. And I think a infinitely replayable, which, you know, roguelike devs love to say, type of roguelike setting, I think it's fine. And I think it can work well. Yeah, I mean, like I couldn't imagine something like Shadows of Doubt without procedural generation. Of course, that is really impressive procedural generation too. But yeah, I think it has its time and place, and I think that this game can be fine with procedural generation. Yeah, these boss fights look cool. Oh, that's just it. I keep pausing near the end. Oh no, there's a little more. The music sounds amazing. Oh, here you go. Here's like a little more extended look at some combat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this game being procedurally generated should really freak you out. I did also include the most recent trailer, or I'm not sure if this is even a trailer. I labeled it as a trailer, but it's posted. This is the most recent thing they posted. It says early access development update from 5 months ago. This is the most recent thing on YouTube.
Hey everybody, some news from us at Heart Machine. So we need just a bit more time.
Oh, this is where they announced the
Hyperlight
delay.
Breaker
That's
before we
right.
launch into early access. This means we'll be pushing our date to early next year in 2024. We have worked incredibly hard to
Okay, early 2024. You heard it here.
Such a long way in such a short amount of time. We've built an expansive, complex,
Now, this game is a
rock-solid
roguelike, though.
foundation,
I believe. I mean, I'm not sure how the
executing
roguelike
absurd
systems will be
ideas of a new
handled,
open
but
world for every run. This,
like, I mean,
as you
here.
can imagine, takes time.
I feel like this looks pretty good. Like, easily identifiable landmarks, pretty like varied terrain. Like, I think the real issue is when procedural generation is done poorly. But it doesn't look like it has been here. It honestly looks fine to me. Like, you could tell me this is hand built, and I'd probably believe you. Yeah, I think it's fair to have roguelike fatigue. I mean, a lot of indie games are, in fact, roguelike. I think I get it. It's a little... It's all about, like, kind of proposing to the player that your game can offer, like, more value beyond a single playthrough. And it's how, like, smaller games and smaller teams can even compete with, like, AAA games by saying, like, we may not have the breadth of content that other games do, but we have more depth, like we have more replayability and stuff like that. It's why so many games are going the roguelike direction. And I get it. I can agree with you that I definitely roll my eyes sometimes when I see a new game that's coming out is a roguelike, but I think there are still good ones, and there are still bad ones. And I think it's possible to make a distinction. And so far, everything I've seen from this one makes it look like a good one. Yeah, RoboQuest as well. RoboQuest is just a good FPS.
As you can imagine, takes time and effort not only to develop, but to continue to iterate and test and make sure it's consistent. We have a lot of wild ideas we want to put into the game, which is exciting and thrilling since the
Yeah, that's a fair point about Hellskate too.
So much possibility. This short push will give us the best chance for a stronger first step.
Anyways, they're just updating on the release date. Am I crazy to think that one handcrafted world or level is better than 1,000 randomly generated ones? No, but like as a rule, I mean, I don't know. Like, would The Binding of Isaac be a better game than if it was the same dungeon every time? Like, I think not. I don't know. I mean, like there's always exceptions. So yeah, I mean, I can't agree with that as a rule. Like, even though, yeah, I mean, like when you talk about something like Starfield and how they had like procedurally generated, 1,000 planets or whatever, like I think, yeah, that game would have been better if they had, handcrafted like 50 rather than 1,000. I think almost everyone would agree with that. Here was something that got submitted by a user. This looks like an update to a game that I have actually played once before on the stream. Ashes 2063. Always down to support some Doom mods and stuff like that. Seems like this is getting an update. I wanted to check and see if it was this year, but all it said was soon TM. And user, if you're in chat, I wasn't able to read through all of this, but maybe you can shed some more light on this. But it looks very cool. And I enjoyed this game a lot. Oh, it was released. Well, this was the most recent. This was the most recent news thing. Well, what did you want me to look at then? Oh, the article was released last year. Oh, I see. In August. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, and actually, this reminded me that I think pretty soon, in the new dumpster dive format, I would like to do a Doom dive, Doom WAD dive. I don't even know what to call it. Maybe I'll do it with a little like roulette aspect or bingo aspect or something like that. But I've had for a long time a big old like zip bomb full of Doom WADs from Mr. Beyond Sunset dev. And probably many of those have been updated since then. Now, I don't think I will include My House because I didn't play through My House, but I watched like that 2.5 hour video on it, and I feel like I experienced it secondhand. So I don't think I wouldn't be going into it blind. Yeah, the Power Pack video, which was a great video. But it really does go in depth on My House, and so I would feel weird playing it now. Golden Souls looks cool. I've seen that one before. I know Ev Eternity, I think, is one that's been recommended. The problem is a lot of these are like mega WADs with a ton of different levels, and I don't want people to get mad at me for like checking out a WAD and then moving on to the to the next one, right? You definitely build your game around randomly generated worlds if that is what you're going for, but I feel like games built around a single world are better than generated ones. Like if Isaac was built around a single world, I would think it's better. You kind of lost me there a little bit. I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure I agree. There's also Brutal Doom. I mean, Brutal Doom is just Doom with like more like gore and shit and like some different weapons, right? I don't think I would. I've played Doom before, so I don't think I would really be super interested in Brutal Doom unless I'm misunderstanding what it is. All right, here is another. It's a gameplay mod. Yeah, no new maps and stuff. Yeah, I just think that would be kind of boring for that, but maybe I'm wrong. Here is another thing, another like kind of prediction for this year. And I'm using just one game as an example, but there's multiple that are coming out. And that is that this is going to be the year where we see a bunch of Souls-likes. This is Black Myth Wukong, which is releasing this year.
Yet fame still holds sway.
And this game looks really fun.
Their glory.
But like you think about it, last year we had Lies of P and Lords of the Fallen as like actually like pretty. Jury's kind of out on Lords of the Fallen, but like mostly like pretty well respected and well regarded Souls-likes. And now we got even more coming out this year, including this one, which looks really awesome so far.
Are there more good folks in the world or bad?
More good.
It's a new dev, I believe, first time dev, but
Then
I
why is
mean,
there always suffering?
so far
Why
looks
do the
really
bad
good.
Folks always win?
Because goodness without teeth punishes not.
And really cool art style. Like, look at that, bro.
Evil. Cleanse the world with blood and grow lotuses in it. That is your destiny.
Tree Man. Is this more Souls-like or more like Sekiro? I think it's a little of both.
I, the keeper of the New West, welcome the Destined One.
The destined one who doesn't even know what he's destined for.
Yeah, it's another furry game, okay?
Know how to name.
Get it out of your system, furries in chat.
My kind destined for extermination.
I'm not sold on the voice acting, but the character designs go absolutely insane.
It will fit me just as well.
Bathed in blood, yet preaching peace. Oh, you immortals, pray enlighten me. What justifies your superiority?
Okay, I was like, this is titled, oh no, never mind. It's a release date trailer. I thought it said gameplay trailer, and I was like, I'm 2 minutes in and I haven't seen gameplay yet. But there it is. And it also didn't claim to be a gameplay reveal. There's also Dragon's Dogma 2 coming out this year. I wouldn't call that a Souls-like, but it looks kind of sick. Honestly, just amazing art direction on this thing. I really hope it's good.
Oh, sweet destiny.
I really hope it's good. August of 2024. There you go. We need more 1D Souls-likes. You know what's funny? It's not actually 1D. Obviously, that's a joke. But there is... Oh, God. What is this game called? Devolver made a game. Well, they published a game. I don't know what the name is. I'm just going to look up a different Devolver game and then find it that way. They made a game that didn't really get that much attention that was basically like a super stripped down like retro Souls-like, and it honestly looked kind of cool. Here it is, Bleak Sword DX. This is the game. They basically made like a retro Souls-like, but it looks kind of cool. Maybe I'll check this out someday. So yeah, not 1D, but it is kind of like the most kind of basic interpretation of a Souls-like I've ever seen. I thought you were talking about Nostalgaia for a second. I have seen that game as well. Okay, I think... Let's see. I might have some more submissions in the... Okay, well, this one is from Siphon, and it's just the Silksong trailer, and I'm gonna be real, I've already watched the Silksong trailer a bunch of different times, so I don't think I'm going to, watch that one again, but yeah, Silksong. Again, also, this is called Games of 2024, guys, and let's be fucking real. Silksong is not releasing in this decade. I'm not really digging the super basic sprites and detailed environments. I thought it looked alright. Also, this was submitted by Lunite. This is an article about Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Confirms one important feature is paywalled. I have not heard about this. Sega confirmed that the upcoming Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth's New Game Plus feature is only available through a DLC paywall. What? That's crazy. Is there like a good reasoning for this listed in the article? So it wasn't DLC. It wasn't paid DLC in the past. I also put a game for the vote. You're too late for that one. I already have the 3 games. But maybe if I do another one next month, just resubmit it. You have to pay to play the game again. I mean, yeah, that's insane. I guess like you could just restart and play from the beginning. But like I don't know. Like New Game Plus is like integral to a lot of games. I would say that that's. Yeah. So this is the bundle, which it costs $85. So Master Vacation Bundle, bonus dungeon, special Sujimon, I don't know what that is. Resort guests, outfits, New Game Plus, and more. That's ridiculous. And that's sad, because this game actually looks really good. I've never played Yakuza before, but I am very interested in it. And then I had one submission. I didn't skip this one. I just saved it for last because it's kind of long. I had one submission from BGB, and this is my vision for Nintendo's next console. Now, I am not much of a console gamer. I do own a Switch, and I play it sometimes, but mainly I've replaced any semblance of a console with some combination of my PC and my Steam Deck. And my opinion is that the console wars are very stupid, and my wish is for the most games to be accessible to the most people. So I kind of lean a little bit fuck Sony, because they're the only ones still really doing exclusives, and apparently Microsoft is now going to put their games on like everything, which is weird because it seems like that strategy of like making Starfield Xbox exclusive was kind of backfired, and other stuff. Like I don't know. Did they make Call of Duty exclusive? It sounds like that's not happening. The Steam Deck is a console. Yeah, but like I mean, that is a fair statement. I know you're saying that sarcastically. That is a fair statement. However, my counterpoint is that like I don't have to rebuy the games I want to play because I already own them on Steam. So like for me, it's not like getting another console. It's just like getting another screen for my PC that I can move around my house. Don't forget Nintendo with exclusivity. Yeah. I mean, that is true. The thing is, though, I own a Switch. And I only ever buy, like, I buy Mario games and I buy Zelda games. And I didn't even really like the last Zelda game all that much. And I also didn't buy the most recent Mario game. I buy the 3D Mario games, I'll put it that way. And then otherwise, I pirate the shit out of their games. You hear that, Nintendo? I will pirate the shit out of your games. Well, are you gonna stop me? Actually, maybe. I should be careful. They're quite litigious. Name your top 50 phone games. I can't remember the last time I played a game on phone. So anyways, before we do that, I want you to think. I want you to think. I know I'm asking a lot of you, but I want you to think about something here. I want you to put your noggins together, use your collective one brain cell, and figure out which game you would like me to play this month. Starting with Cookie Cutter. This is a bit of a very stylish Metroidvania with a cool art style that had got pretty good reception, but it hasn't exploded in popularity. But I own it, and I've been keen to play it, and I'm curious if you guys want to see it. It seems really cool. So that's option number 1. Option number 2. Now listen, this is another game I'm excited about. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong one bit. However, it's not on Steam. And that is, we actually already talked about it. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Thank you to BGB, by the way, for the key. I would like to play this as well. It's also, I don't know where to go to like show you what the game looks like. But It looks like a very cool, very, very competent, very fun and fluid Metroidvania. And somehow Ubisoft accidentally made a good game. I don't know about accidentally, but this game seems very good. Don't let the fact that I have to launch it on Ubisoft dissuade you from voting it, because I would very much like to try this game out as well. And then the final game, I actually don't own it, but if you were to select it, I would buy it. Submitted by Shiko. Really the only game that was submitted. I saw that Siphon submitted something after I started stream, but I had to just draw a line to cut it off somewhere. The other option, Brutal Orchestra. Heard good things about this one as well. I think it's more of like a roguelike, which makes me a little cautious to make it like the game of the month, but I'm not sure. Maybe it has like a story and like progression and stuff as well. And I would be very down to play it. I love the art style. And yeah, it seems cool. What about Gamer's Zero Ranger presentation? Here's the thing. Okay, there's 2 other games that I would like to comment on, and that is 1, Inscription. That was the other suggestion I received, was Inscription, and I feel like it wouldn't be fair to put Inscription in the vote because I'm going to play Inscription anyways. Like I think it would sweep. Like, and I'm just going to play it anyways. So I'd rather like choose between 3 games that I'm like maybe like on the fence about playing. And the same kind of goes for Zero Ranger. That is a game that I want to just play eventually. And if I don't get around to it this month, I maybe will just include it in the vote for next month. But I don't I also kind of don't want you to feel like you need to make a presentation for me to get me to consider your game. Not that there was any problem that Gamer Guy did that. I actually quite enjoyed the presentation. And it did make me think about playing Zero Ranger again. But I don't want you to think that that is how you get your game considered. I'll just put it that way. He just did that for fun, and we enjoyed it on stream, but it's not necessarily the key to getting into the vote. So it's going to be between, again, Cookie Cutter, Prince of Persia, and Brutal Orchestra. And first, we're going to watch this video, and then we will vote. So let's do it. This is called My Vision for Nintendo's Next Console.
This video was brought to you by Squarespace. For Christmas, all I wanted was a
okay, we're being talked to by
professional
Cookie
website.
Monster.
And you know what Santa got me? Socks. Which I appreciated. And then later,
Cuphead is one of your
year,
punishment
unrelated
games?
to
So
that,
true.
I learned about Squarespace. Squarespace gives
Okay,
you
why am I
simple,
watching the ad?
intuitive tools to build specific
Listen,
site is
no
doing
disrespect,
analytics
Cookie Monster, but
your
like,
first website or domain. And now it's the kind of thing we don't always think to do.
Were you
Sometimes
still
we
talking
don't
about
even
Squarespace?
Consider it until it's too late.
holy shit, bro. This 2 minutes of this video is an ad.
That's a filter. Predicting Nintendo's actions is something of a hobby of mine.
I hate
Every
this
year,
blue
I make a
fuck. Get him
video
out. Yeah, I
trying
didn't
to
realize I
predict
was
all the
going to
games
be
they'll
talked to
review
by
and
a
release.
fuzzy
But this
blue
video
man.
is something a little
How's the
different.
volume, by the way? It's a
At the
little
time of this
quiet.
recording, there is absolutely zero official word on Nintendo's next system or when we may actually see it. There are plenty of rumors, and I feel that logically we have to be getting fairly close, but there is nothing solid. That's why, right now, I want to make my biggest prediction yet.
Okay.
I want to predict what I think their next console will be. The whole concept. As with all my predictions, this is not simply wishful thinking. I try to balance what I want to happen.
Is
with
there a
what I
hand in there, or is it a
realistically
mask?
think
Yeah, I
could
haven't.
happen.
I mean, it's
I try
definitely
to
not a
get
mask. I
into
don't think
Nintendo's
it's got to
head,
be.
you know,
I
I
bet
try
it's
to
a
think
hand
like
and then
they
a
think.
hand,
And
right?
after
Like
much
he's got a
pondering,
hand for the head, and then the
this is what
other
I've
hand
come up
is
with.
another hand.
The next
Sorry, I'm talking
Nintendo
over him.
system is called the Switch 2. I have to believe that Nintendo learned their lesson with the Wii U. I have to believe that they are
Dude.
smart enough.
Wait, can we talk about that real quick? How bad of a name he doesn't actually look like that. What? Can we talk about how bad of a name the Wii U was? I think the Wii U was already like on the outs before I even knew what it was. I thought it was like a controller that you bought for the Wii. And I was like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? Like, and then I finally understood that it was like its own console. And by that point, the Switch had already been announced. And I was like, okay, so I'm just not going to get the Wii U then, I guess. I know one person in real life who bought the Wii U. You take Switch U over Switch 2. I mean, they don't have to use a U, right? We will beat you to death. So true, so true. So based. I don't like Switch U or Switch 2, to be honest, but Switch 2 at least is like, okay, it's the second Switch. Switch X? What are they? What are they, Microsoft? Why not Switch 360? Better. 720. I can't believe they didn't call the Xbox One the Xbox 720. It was right there. It was right there in front of them. It would have been so easy. I love the Wii U, but yeah, that console was destined to fail. Yeah, I've heard the game lineup was actually pretty good, but the controller was so clunky. Like it literally looked like a prototype of the Switch. Like, how did they go from that bulky piece of shit to like the pretty like slick, small, elegant Switch? I just don't get it. Call the next Switch the Exchange? What? That would be even crazier than Switch U. All right, I'm watching this.
To give their next system a simple, straightforward name in line with the rest of the tech industry that doesn't do anything to risk confusing consumers.
You need to watch that
I've thought
one
about
YouTube
this
video.
so much. Put
Future
basically
gen consoles.
any possible word
Oldie
before
but a
or
classic.
after the name Switch.
Sorry. Future gen consoles, is that the name of the video? I don't know if I'm going to have time, but it sounds interesting.
and people are going to wonder what.
Yeah, I saw Switch U in there.
That's why this is just Switch 2. It is the next iteration of Switch. For the most part, the concept is identical.
I kind of hate motion controls too, I won't lie.
Gimmicks radically changing how people play. It's a handheld device that can connect to your TV using a dock. It's got 64 gigabytes of internal storage, which is enough, barely. It's got Joy-Cons, which are the same as always, except maybe just a little sleeker and newer
He's just
looking,
describing
and of course,
the
without
Switch.
drift issues. The system has got an LCD screen.
There's a thought. Fix the damn drift issues and call it a new Switch. Let's go, dude.
Same size as before, maybe just a little less bezel. It uses cartridges and is indeed backwards compatible, though I'll outline more on that in my yearly predictions video.
No, all right, this is where you've lost me. Nintendo will never make it backwards compatible. Never in a million years. You got to rebuy all your games. Nah, I'm kidding. It'll probably be backwards compatible with the Switch. But like, wouldn't it be, it will at least be backwards compatible with the Switch, but wouldn't it be the most Nintendo thing ever to make it not backwards compatible? Like, could you even imagine, like, and Nintendo fanboys would still buy it too. That's the crazy thing.
Really is a Switch. Everything that the Switch did, however, the Switch 2 does better. And it's also got some extra bells and whistles.
The Wii was backwards compatible, that's true.
Power-wise, it's similar to 8th gen consoles, the PS4 and Xbox One. It's actually slightly weaker, but close enough that it doesn't make a huge difference. Switch graphics were already considered good enough for a vast number of customers, so the extra graphical shine plus more consistent frame rates and resolutions are immediately seen as a blessing. Nintendo naturally knows just how to get the most out of their hardware, and their launch titles are shockingly beautiful. I might be getting ahead of myself.
You know, I do. This is actually kind of what he's saying was kind of true about the Switch too. To this day, I feel like Mario Odyssey in particular still looks shockingly good.
Real quick, I did some digging, but apparently the plug was pulled on Dead Cells by Motion Twins because Evil Empire apparently couldn't fulfill what they had in mind for Dead Cells.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the Dead Cells. I don't even know if I want to call it a controversy because it's kind of one person's word against like the official statements of like two, companies. But my opinion is that like if that's true, it kind of sucks. But I don't think like there's nothing really left on the table for Dead Cells. Even if there was more planned content, I mean, 5 years of like really consistent support is really, really like an accomplishment for that game. And I don't think anyone should like be taking heat for the fact that they couldn't deliver 2 more years of content on top of that. But yeah, that's just my quick and dirty opinion on that.
But this is the system that's going to stick around for an unusually long time. The Switch was just a little bit too weak to meet everyone's needs, but Switch 2 is strong enough to do everything Nintendo needs it to do for the foreseeable future. We'll have a whole discussion about that later though. As far as new marketable features go, one big one is that it has an open-face dock. The screen is visible even when the system is docked, and it can display something different from what's
Sorry, I forgot about the OLED
this
Switch.
Won't end up being as big of a deal as Nintendo initially makes it out to be, and it won't have a ton of solid applications within actual games. Certain HUD elements can be displayed on the screen, mini-maps, alerts, that kind of thing, but the feature will be used most outside of games. You see, another new thing...
if that is real, well, if that ends up being true, I don't know if I like that, because that was part of what I didn't like about the Wii U, and part of my confusion about what even the Wii U was and how it worked, was like the necessity of having like a... Yeah, I agree with you, Shiko. I feel like that does not sound appealing to me. And yeah, I mean, it does also sound like a recipe for disaster. That's true. Yeah, DS/Wii U, but worse. I don't even know about Wii U, but worse. It's like literally just the Wii U at that point with detachable controllers. I don't know what that would add to like too many games. I actually think that like a big appeal of the Switch right now is like kind of the elegant simplicity of how it functions. Like the fact that you can just dock it and play it on your TV, or pull it out and play it handheld, to pop the controllers out and play 2-player very easily without having a second controller. I think as soon as you I think as soon as you add the necessity of like holding the whole thing in your hand to play a game on your TV, I feel like some of that is lost. Wii U has a touchscreen and that wouldn't. Is the Switch not touchscreen? It 100% is, isn't it? Like, why would they get rid of the touchscreen? Am I smoking reefer? I swear to God, it's a touchscreen. Most games don't use it though. Yeah, but it is a touchscreen, right? Like, we're splitting hairs a little bit here, but it does. I mean, the docked mode wouldn't be a touchscreen, I guess. Yeah, so I guess they were in the video. We're talking about having like essentially an alternate screen, but not that you like hold. But even still, I'm not sure that has any real use. I don't know. I'm not buying it, I guess. But I thought that maybe they were suggesting that it could be like a controller as well. Yeah, no, that's true. It would have to be wireless. You're correct on that. I'm going to keep watching because I keep talking over this.
Front and rear facing cameras. This makes it very similar to the 3DS, but it takes the concept a lot further. And the cameras plus the open face dock combine to deliver a tremendous amount of social features. That's really the Switch 2's big thing, connecting with.
Dude, we already did Miiverse. I'm sorry, we already did Miiverse. It was an insane disaster. We tried this with Miiverse, and it was kind of a beautiful disaster, but it was a disaster.
Friends and utilizing social media. The front-facing
FaceTime on Wii U.
Chat with friends and take pictures to share. The popular option, though, is sending short video clips to each other. This feature is greatly highlighted in marketing and will go on to become a very popular option. You can't stream games from the Switch 2, but you can capture your face cam and audio during recorded clips. And this will be a huge deal on social media. Clip sharing was already good on Switch, but now you get a person's live reaction to what they're playing.
I feel like 90% of the time when I'm playing my Switch, I'm on the couch and I look like this. I'm not capturing my face. I'm sorry. I don't want people to see what I look like when I'm playing my Switch.
Similar to clips of streamers. That's something that Xbox and PlayStation don't have, and it's going to be a constant source of fun. Clips have a much longer time limit too, up to 3 minutes. Though you might be thinking, it's going to be awkward trying to sit in such a way that the docked Switch can see your face, so if you want to share clips, you've probably got to play handheld, right? Well, that's why Nintendo will sell a camera accessory to put on your desk. They want people sharing clips of their games as much as possible. That camera is a bit of an awkward solution to the problem, but to Nintendo, it's important. Even further, AR plays a
This
big
man
role
is
here.
insane. No, I don't think he is. I think you maybe misunderstand the purpose of this video. I think these are predictions in the sense that these are like directions that Nintendo could reasonably go with the Switch. Because like, if we were sitting here in like the Wii era, and this dude made a video called My Vision for Nintendo's Next Console, and it was just a description of what the Wii U is, we would all be sitting here also saying he's fucking insane, right? Like, I think these are actually reasonable predictions for the way that Nintendo kind of treats their consoles like hardware gimmicks. Like, I actually think nothing he's saying is all that crazy. I don't think at least 50% of this will come true. But I don't think he's suggesting anything particularly outlandish. And he's also not necessarily saying this is a good idea. He's just saying this is plausibly something that Nintendo might consider doing.
Rear-facing camera can and will be used to gamify your surroundings, and there are plenty of little tech demos to play around with out of the box. There's one where you can put Nintendo characters around your house, and you can even have Mario run around and jump up on your counters and stuff.
Okay,
Only
Nintendo
time will
going
tell
into
if
AR
Nintendo
is
or
actually
others
very
will
likely, I would say.
utilize this feature to its fullest potential, or if it'll just be another silly gimmick. Front-facing AR, though, that is something Nintendo will push a lot harder. Switch 2 can apply filters to your face face.
Yeah,
make
this
you
is
look like
actually
you're me
very
or other
plausible.
Nintendo characters in real time. It can also make it look like they're posing in a picture with you. There will be loads of filters and effects and frames and all that to spice up your pictures, clips, and video calls. The power of the Switch.
Okay,
2
he's
will make
bringing it
all
back.
work really
I'm seeing the
seamlessly,
vision
and
here.
It'll be something people really do enjoy playing around with. As with a lot of Switch 2's features, this is a Nintendo spin on something that people already enjoy doing. Speaking of which, Nintendo knows that the Switch can't compete with
Someone modded Mario from
the
Mario
Switch
64 into
can
real
get
life. That's
carried around
crazy.
with you, but your phone is the thing that you've got on you at all times. That's why the spiffy new Switch app helps your phone and your Switch 2 complement each other. Much like the 3DS, Switch 2 games give you bonuses for walking, for moving around. Only this time, data is captured on your phone and shared with
Something that blew my mind. Wait, let me double check that I didn't misread this. Okay, I definitely misread it, but it wasn't that far off. One of the best-selling Switch games that you never hear anything about is Ring Fit Adventure. It's in the top 10 bestsellers of all time on the Switch. Like, there are people who actually use their Switch as like a fitness device. Yeah, that is not a joke. That is real. I thought I saw that it was like top 5 or top 3 or something. It is top 10, it seems like. Yeah, I mean, I have no opinion on that game. I hardly ever think about it at all. I've only heard its name in passing. But like, you have to imagine that there are families that have like a Switch in their household and like the mom uses Ring Fit or whatever. Like, yeah, it's actually absurd how well that game sold. Yeah, Wii Fit as well. Yeah, no, totally true. Yeah, I mean, so again, this is something that's actually pretty plausible. I don't really know what the like phone integration really has to do with it, but like, you can kind of gamify anything and get people to like engage with it, right? Like as soon as like walking earns you 20 coins or whatever, then like all of a sudden people are going to be walking every day. Like I don't know why, but that shit just works.
your Switch when they're both connected to the network.
Switch banking app?
But
Yeah,
also the types of locations you visit and the people you come in contact with. That's right, Street Pass is back. Your phone and your Switch 2
It's
are
back. Was this a
always
thing?
talking.
I've never heard of
Everything
this.
you do feeds into your games. And let's talk a little more.
I don't like that. No, what he said there, I don't like that. I do not like that one bit. Catch me never connecting my phone to my Switch U, Switch 2, whatever the fuck, Switch 720. Never happening.
More about that open face dock. Thanks to the camera, the Switch 2 can identify your face, turn on, and show you stuff when you walk in the room.
It's getting
Creepy?
dystopian.
Absolutely, but it's too much fun not to use. There will
Again,
be a
though,
feature where you can have Nintendo
it is something
characters
Nintendo would
just chilling
do.
on the screen when you're not using your Switch, and they can use the camera to see where you are and point at you and wave and stuff.
You're
Like a
getting
little
20 Nintendo
fish
points
tank.
for taking
More
a walk
importantly, though,
through
the screen
what?
can display
Yeah.
any kind.
Yeah, and you get points for all the homies you pass too. Yeah, what's not to love? I mean, to be honest, I think like this was kind of a thing with Pokemon Go, like when that was at like the peak of popularity. People were like so worried about like the safety of it. But if anything, like I'm sure there was some things that happened, but if anything, having more people just like on the street walking around was actually positive for safety. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if anything horrible ever happened. I remember there was like stampedes and stuff of like people like trying to get a certain Pokemon in like Times Square or whatever. But I feel like I always remember hearing about like way less bad stuff happening as a result of Pokemon Go than I thought would be the case. So I think, yeah, it's probably fine, right?
kind of notification. Nintendo has been wanting to get into the quality of life business for a
Yeah, people
long
playing it in the
time.
Holocaust
They want
Museum
their
is
products
insane.
To be a regular part of your day, even when you're not playing games.
This is just
Well,
it's some
Switch 2 aims to
disconnect.
see that goal finally
People just can't-
realized. It'll feature a
Yeah,
number
I
of
don't know.
wellness apps that utilize the Switch app's data collection and keep you picking up your Switch to check your progress on stuff. It cannot
My concern
be
for privacy
overstated
leaving as
just
soon as I
how
earn cool looking
important this
pixels.
new app is.
Exactly,
The
dude.
original
That's what they
Switch
want.
app was nothing compared to this. This is something you're genuinely supposed to use all the time. In fact, you can message your friends through it just like on your Switch, and it even has some filters and stuff too. As highlighted in marketing, the Switch was all about switching between docked and handheld play, but this time there's extra emphasis on
Nintendo
switching
Discord.
between using Nintendo services on your Switch 2 and on your phone. Imagine you're out of the house. You're using your Switch app to talk to friends.
This is fine and all, and by fine I mean it kind of scares me and I don't like it, but like the things that he is proposing are reasonable. My issue is he spent about 2 minutes talking about like the actual like improvements to like the gameplay, and now he's spent like 10 minutes talking about the social aspects of it, and I'm kind of just like, why? I just want to play games, man. I don't need to message people. I don't need my Switch to encourage me to take a walk. Like I just want to play. I just want to play Bing Bing Wahoo Plumber Man. I don't need to be messaging someone who up donkeying they Kong. Like, I'm sorry. This does not appeal to me at all. I'm sure it appeals to someone, but it does not appeal to me. And we have Wii 8-Ball Pool. Bro, you can already play that like on Facebook. You can play that in Facebook Messenger. What do you need a Wii for?
And post silly Nintendo filter stuff on social media. Then you come home and your Switch is displaying some cute little animated Mario clock. And when it sees you, it chimes to let you know you've walked enough steps to earn some coins in some game. So you boot up the game to check it out. And then maybe you share that achievement on social media. We'll be seeing a lot of this exact sequence in the commercials, I promise you.
He's talking about this in such a like calm and cheerful manner, but like the more he talks about it, the more I'm like, I can see this happening and I hate it.
Thing to mention,
Yeah,
though,
screen burn.
all this
I guess it wouldn't happen if it was OLED though, which
Switch
it
2
probably
has got
will be.
Some fun little AR stuff built in, and basic step counting functionality will work with your games. Maybe there's like one free clock and one free fish tanky character or something, but just about all of the Switch 2's social and quality of life features are enabled through an online membership. That's right, Nintendo Switch Online has also received a big overhaul, and you've got to
And they're gonna charge
even
more money.
if you want
Yup.
access to all of Switch 2's features. This is its own new payment tier.
Steam is free. I'm just going to say Steam is free. Yeah, it costs you a little more to, build a computer, but you could have built a computer when the Switch came out and you'd be saving yourself money on the Switch 2 or the Switch U. Steam is free. That's all I'm saying.
And let's just call it
What's up,
the
Asbestos?
QOL tier. Most filters and AR stuff, both on the Switch and your phone, it's all paywall.
I thought OLED was
And
better for screen burn, but I could be
video chat and
wrong.
Video messages also require a subscription. You can text message each other and share clips on social media for free, but
Steam is free, just boil some water.
That's
So
another thing
true.
you might feel like you need to pay for. And yes, the expansion pack is still separate from the main library of games, leaving you now with 3 different things to pay for. Good news
Yep.
though, you don't have to wait for Nintendo to release all these old games again. The entire library on Switch is instantly available on Switch 2. Even
Yeah,
more,
but you gotta pay for it.
GameCube games will trickle onto the expansion pack throughout the Switch 2's life, with a decent lineup ready a few months after launch. Getting as many
I'm getting like 2 opposite messages here. I'm seeing OLED is anti-screen burn and OLED is way worse for screen burn. Which is it? You would think that it would be better, like just based on the way that it works. I mean, granted, I don't know like the chemistry behind how it works, but you would think that it would be better. Just based on the general improvements to the screen experience. But perhaps I'm wrong. Who up donkeying they Kong? That's really the question.
people as possible to subscribe to NSO is Nintendo's big goal this generation. Thanks to the social features available on your phone and maybe some other phone.
Can you imagine texting someone yet? On my Switch 2? Yeah, of course.
To the service before they even have Switch 2.
You will enjoy
Time will
Nintendo
tell if
watching your
anyone
Nintendo
Okay.
life through its Nintendo cams.
He's speculating about the price point. I don't think I'm going to finish this video. I got the gist of it, though. Here's my thought. I don't like it, but it's not that hard to imagine. I'm not sure about all the, like, social features and stuff. Hello? I'm not sure I subscribe to this idea that it'll be so loaded up with social features, but, like, if there's anything that Nintendo has proven in the past, it's that they want to encourage you to pay for the online membership. They want you to buy unnecessary peripherals, and they want you in their ecosystem playing their games as much as possible. And so, yeah, I think a lot of this is plausible. I think he spent a little too much time talking about the social stuff, because it's possible, but I just don't think we've seen really any console really succeed with, like, the social media integration type stuff. Because wasn't, like, the PS4 all about that? I mean, did you ever hear anyone using the PS4 like that? I mean, I don't think I did. I mean, it had, like, the share screenshot now button, like, for Facebook or whatever. Like, come on. You could share it immediately on Facebook. Let's go. So I don't think Nintendo is going to be the one to crack the code there. But who knows? People plan terrorist attacks on PlayStation parties. Ah, it sounds like the Miiverse then. Peak Nintendo was Matt from Wii Sports, and nothing has been better than the blood, sweat, and tears when I fought him. Honestly, so true. Wii Sports was the shit. That was legitimately just a great game. I never played Wii Sports Resort, but I heard that one slapped too. I will say, though, I was never a fan of the motion controls. That was my big hang up with the Wii. Like, there were games on there that I wanted to play, but anything that wouldn't allow me to kind of just, like, dock my controller and just play it, like, normally, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I never liked playing... I liked the Wii Mario Kart, fine, but I never liked playing it with the fucking steering wheel. That shit was so stupid. Especially when you move your entire character with it. Bro, didn't Call of Duty have, like, a Wii gun attachment? Let me look this shit up. Call of Duty Wii. The Wii Zapper? Is that what I'm thinking of? Maybe it wasn't a Call of Duty thing, because I can't find it. Yeah, dude, here it is. It's they got the fucking Wii GAT. The hell? Hang on. Need to my face cam and I'm struggling. That's just a gun, bro. That shit's just a gun. Anyways, yeah, there you go. The Wii Zapper. But that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, anything that can, like... anything that Nintendo can, like, nickel and dime you on. Like, I feel like they're going to. You ever see the Yoshi's Island commercial from the 90s? I think I did.
Black
One time
Ops
I
on the Wii
watched...
didn't have zombies.
One time I watched, like, just video game ads on stream for a dumpster dive, and I think I did watch that one. The Power Glove. Black Ops on the Wii didn't have zombies? I didn't know that. I don't think I ever owned a Call of Duty for Wii. I did own Call of Duty 2 for the GameCube, though. But the GameCube was just like a console. Maybe I'm out of touch, but I just want a box that plays my games. I don't need all this other stuff. It's funny, I say this as someone who's, like, predominantly a PC gamer, where I also, you know, do all of my, like, social type online stuff, where I also, you know, do work / like my job, and I also game, and here I am saying I don't need any of that other stuff. But if I were to buy it, like I already have a PC, like assuming you're someone who already has a computer, not even like a gaming PC, like I don't know why you need like social media and shit on your Wii or whatever, you know? Like who was up following the 2008 election on the Wii News channel? Not me. Granted, I was also 11 or whatever, but wait, that math doesn't check out. I was not 11 in 2008. I was 13. There we go.